Hi, and thanks for joining us. My name is Lynette Doherty, and I am the Artistic Director here at The Space. Well, I'm the Artistic Director here in my home, which is where you're watching this too. We are going to do some acting together. We're going to do kind of like what we would normally do in our class at the studio. A little bit of improv, some working with text, talking a little bit about character development. The only thing you won't really have is a scene partner, but we're going to have some fun together. Hi actors! Hope you're all doing well at home. We are going to get started with our acting class, and we usually start off with some improv, which is a little bit trickier to do on a screen, but we're going to give it our best shot because we are resourceful and improv helps us to think on our feet and be really creative, so we're going to make the most of it. The first thing that I need you to do is get 3 things. So look around the room, wherever you are, just grab 3 things, any 3 things, doesn't matter what they are, just grab them. I will wait. Have you found 3 things yet? I'll show you what I've got. I got a candle, fresh cut gardenia, very nice. I found a bow tie and a lip balm. So these are my 3 things. With these 3 things, you are going to make up a story that connects all 3 of these random items that you just picked up somehow. I don't know how you're going to make that happen. Don't think about it. Go, here's mine. One day, while wearing my bow tie and feeling very fancy with myself, I thought, what I need to go with this new fancy feeling is some fresh cut flowers to make my whole home look very fancy. However, I could not find fresh cut flowers. I did, however, find fresh cut gardenia scented candles. It was delicious smelling, although it was a flower. But I kept smelling it even after I had lit the candle, and it got too close to my mouth. It made my lips feel very dry and burnt, and so I needed some lip balm in order to soothe that feeling. I realized that feeling fancy really should not have to compromise proper skincare. There you go. It's a nonsense story. It's a ridiculous story. You may come up with something really silly on your own too. Whatever story it is you come up with, that works. That's the whole idea. Don't think about it too much. Just grab something, see what comes off the top of your head and sparks a story for you, and make it happen. If you're on Instagram, feel free to make your story your Instagram story as well. And if you tag The Space at The Space Toronto, we can share each other's ridiculous improv stories as we try and do some of this at home. So grab any 3 things, tell us your story, and you can post it. Hashtag improv at home, and then tag at The Space Toronto, and we can share your story too. Try another one. Grab any 3 things, doesn't matter what they are. Go grab 3 things, pause the video, grab 3 things. Did you get your 3 things? Make up another story, whatever it is. It doesn't matter how silly it is, just make up a story and get your brain working. Think of something brand new. Here's another one you can try at home. Look around the room. And we're just going to connect a bunch of different things together, kind of like you were working in a store. So imagine yourself as an employee. You work in this whatever store you happen to be in. I am currently in my bedroom store. And as you look around the room, you're going to try and connect as many things as you can to make an imaginary customer want to continue to buy something from your store. So for example, as I look around my room, I can show someone a painting of a streetcar that a friend of mine made. Well, I think this streetcar painting is an excellent purchase for you because it really helps you to remember the city of Toronto and where we live, and it's a wonderful nostalgic feeling of home so that you can always remember the city even while you are sitting in your living room. And if I look over here, I can see there is another painting. This one is of the waterfront in St. John, New Brunswick. And obviously, if you are someone who enjoys streetscapes and city paintings, you might also enjoy this painting of St. John, New Brunswick, because that's clearly something that connects the two of them for you. Just underneath that painting of St. John, New Brunswick, you'll see a bowl, and it's got some beautiful water colors in it because it's got some darker blues and some aqua colors, and those are obviously colors that are connected to the water. So if you like the St. John and the water picture, you would obviously like that bowl as well because it has those same colors in it. If you like that bowl, you may notice it's the same shape. If you turn upside down, there's a lampshade, and lampshades have that same shape. So if that's a shape that you enjoy, you may also like a lampshade, and you can purchase that lampshade here at my store as well. And similarly, if you like lights from lamps, you might also like this ceiling light fixture that we have because it's got light as well, and it can light up the entire room for you that way. And you'll see that it has a fan that goes with it too. Speaking of fans, if you like fans, we have another fan right here in the bedroom, and it's been here since last summer, and we've apparently just never found a new home for it once it got cold again in the wintertime, so it lives here all the time. And that fan you can also purchase right here in our store. It's just that. Look around the room, keep trying to connect things as best as you can. Make your brain fire up a way to try and justify why somebody would want to purchase every single thing that you can possibly see in your room. Are you ready? Look around your own room. Start with one thing. Try and connect them all. See how many you get. Got another improv game for you. This time, we're going to tell a story together. I'm going to tell a story, and I'm going to leave spots for you to fill in the words. So you'll be making up your version of the story as we go. Sometimes our story ends up being really silly, sometimes our story ends up being really weird, but all of the time our story ends up being a lot of fun. And I hope you have fun playing at home too. Don't pause your video for this one. Just try and fill in the blanks as best you can. Say the first thing that comes into your head. Who knows what your story is going to end up like. Hope it's fun. Here we go. Yesterday, I went to and it was a day. But then I saw and I felt it was huge. I couldn't believe it. I just wanted to go, but I wasn't able to get there right away because there was a blocking the path. So as fast as I could, I jumped up and caught hold of but then now I hurt so I was really but just then a small came by, and I knew that was going to be finally. When I got back, I saw and all was well. How did your story turn out? If you're on social media, this is another one where you can share your story on your story. You can hashtag improv at home, tag us at The Space Toronto, and then we can see your story and we'll share it on our story too. One of our challenges as actors is to try and speak really clearly so that our audience can understand the words that we're saying. Here's some fun things that we can do with that at home. Tongue twisters. She sells seashells by the seashore. Try saying that faster and faster every time. First, start it really clearly. She sells seashells by the seashore. 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 How fast can you go? Here's another one. Red leather, yellow leather. Red leather, yellow leather. Red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather. Try it as fast as you can and see how many times you can go in a row before it all falls apart. This is one we sometimes do when we're singing as well. It's talking about what we use to try and enunciate and articulate. We need to make our face make really big shapes when we talk so that it's really clear for our audience what we're saying. That means we use our facial muscles a lot. So let's warm them up. Imagine you've got a giant wad of gum. Pour another piece in. I feel really big. It's like a lot of gum right now. Try it. Pour another piece in. It's really working your jaw. Got it moving all over. Just if you can fit one more piece in, just cram one more piece of gum in. Really got your jaw moving up and down, round and round, all the way. Good. Well, just put that somewhere and we'll do something else. Let's keep warming up our face. Can you stretch out wide? Make the biggest ah shape you can. If you put your fingers right here by the sides of your ears, you should feel where your jaw opens up. It almost feels like a little indent, and my finger sinks right in. Can you see that? Can you feel that? Open your mouth as wide as you can, and then stick your tongue out like a lion. And then make the smallest, squishiest face you can. Think everything comes in really, really tight. Open it up. Really small. Open it up. Really small. One more time. And small. Shake your face around. You can put your hands on the side of your face. Massage your jaw a little bit. Shake your lips out. And then we'll have our faces all warmed up and ready for acting. One of the things that's really important for actors to do is character development, and that's something that you can do right at home. We're going to do a little bit of work with text and on character development. So that means you're going to need some text. Do you have a monologue in mind? Something that you are maybe working on? Or a favorite speech from a TV show? Even song lyrics will work. You can use anything. The important part is it's just you talking. Because right now we're not doing scene work with scene partners. It's just something that you can do yourself. Ask yourself these questions. Who, what, where, when, why, and how. So as you go through your scene, your monologue, your song lyrics, whatever you're going to use for your text, think of those 5 questions. Who? Who are you? Who is this person that's giving this speech? What has happened to you? Why are you saying whatever it is that you're saying the way that you're saying it? Who are you? Those are the questions that we need to know. Are you 5? Are you 105? Are you a high school student? Are you a lawyer? Decide who you are, because that will change the way that you say your words. Also, who are you talking to? Who you're saying those words to makes a huge difference. Is it a best friend? Is it your mom? Is it a bratty younger sibling? Decide who you're talking to, because that will change the way you say your text. What? That's not only what are you saying, but what is happening around you? What's going on? What do you have to tell this person that's driving this scene? Think of some of those things together. Where? Where are you when you deliver this speech? There is a scene that I love in a play called Cocktails at Pam's, and a character of Estelle is giving a speech about how much she hates green peppers, and she loses it, and it's so funny. It's a great scene, so if you have a chance to look it up, go for it. Cocktails at Pam's, and the character is Estelle. And so she's giving this speech about how much she hates green peppers, and she's at a dinner party. So yelling and screaming and carrying on, but you also have to look around and remember that, oops, I just had this really public fit in front of a lot of people. So where you are is going to change the way that you say your scene. Really try to imagine a really clear picture of where your scene takes place. Really give yourself a full picture in your imagination of the setting, because it will definitely change the way you deliver those lines. In that speech from Cocktails at Pam's, realizing that she's at a fancy dinner party makes a huge difference to the way that the character of Estelle delivers that speech. It starts out with this sort of, well, I don't want to make a big deal of it. I realize we're at a fancy party, but I actually don't love these foods with green peppers. There's that sense of not wanting to make a big deal out of it because it's really public. Then she's just losing it. And then that realization again that like, oh no, I just did this in front of a lot of people and it's embarrassing. So play with where your scene takes place and see what you can discover as you go through it. When? This means when in history did it happen, right? Is this a scene that's set in the 1700s? Is it a scene that's set 4,000 years in the future? Is it a scene that's set today? Is it a scene that's set 20 years ago? All of those things are going to make a difference. Also, what time of day is it? Did you just wake up? And are you really tired and like not wanting to have a conversation with this other person right now? Because that will make a difference to how you do your scene. When is also an opportunity for us to talk about one of my favorite things when we get to do some character development with acting, and it is the moment before. What just happened? That's going to change how you do your scene. Every scene that you will ever do, unless it is written at the dawn of time, comes after something else. So think about this quick little scene. How are you? Fine. Are you fine? What just happened? We say fine all the time when we're not fine. How are you? Fine could mean, actually, I'm fine. Everything's great, and I'm having a great day. Fine could also mean, I'm really upset right now, but I don't want to talk about it. Or fine could also mean, I'm actually furious, but the last person I want to talk to is you. So you need to decide for yourself what you're saying. When did it happen? Have you just had a big fight with this person, and now they're trying to talk to you? Because the when of how you say these words in your text that you've chosen is going to matter. Or is the when, I've just had the greatest day ever, and now this scene takes place. Decide how the when of your scene changes the way that you play with your text. Why? Why are you saying this? Why is it important to tell this person whatever it is that you have to tell them? Decide that. That could be a million different things. So the why of what you're saying and why you have to tell this person this thing right now, it has to be important. There's no scene that anybody watches ever that's just like, whatever, this scene doesn't really matter, and it doesn't drive the plot, and it doesn't tell us anything about the character, and there's really no point to it being here. We just wanted to write a scene. That never happens. A playwright would not keep the scene in the show if it's not going to do anything. Nobody would put it on TV. It's not going in a movie. That scene is there for a reason. So the why is what you get to figure out as the actor. And if it's not really apparent by reading the script, it's not really clear to you why that scene is there or what you're supposed to be figuring out from it, then you get to play with your imagination for a little bit. Go back to some of those improv games. Let your brain be just kind of free and loose and come up with whatever and play around with a bunch of different ideas. Sometimes that's the most fun way to find out what works in a scene. How? How do you want to play it? Totally up to you. Decide anything that you want to do. How are you going to physicalize this character? How do they walk? How do they stand? Do you speak really fast? Are you real slow and deliberate? However you want to play your scene can work. The fun thing is to play with a bunch of different approaches. See what you like best. See what makes you think, oh, this makes me get a whole new insight into this character. I now look at this scene in a completely different way, or I understand this scene in a completely different way, or my audience is now going to understand this scene in a completely different way. Play with it, have fun with it. That's acting. I hope you had fun. And I also hope that I get to see you in person at the studio for an acting class one day. See you next time.